أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال هي راودتني عن نفسي وشهد شاهد من أهلها إن كان قميصه قد من قبل فصدقت وهو من الكاذبين وإن كان قميصه قد من دبر فكذبت وهو من الصادقين فلما رأى قميصه قد من دبر قال إنه من كيدكن إن كيدكن عظيم يوسف أعرض عن هذا واستغفري لذنبك إنك كنت من الخاطئين صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم. My dear respected listeners, continuing on the Tafseer of Surah Yusuf. Previously, the incident up to date is that obviously Yusuf ﷺ was now in the house of the minister of Egypt. And as Yusuf ﷺ was very handsome, and therefore the minister's wife fell in love with him and tried to seduce him. And this is what Yusuf ﷺ mentions here, that when the minister came, noticed that Yusuf ﷺ was running away from her, and from the back the qamis and the kurta was ripped. And therefore, now the minister sees what is happening. So Yusuf ﷺ mentions here, قَالَ هِيَ رَاوَدَتْنِي عَنْ نَفْسِي. It was she who tried to seduce me to attain her motives. وَشَهِدَ شَاهِدٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. A witness from her family testified by saying, إِنْ كَانَ قَمِيصُهُ قُدَّ مِنْ قُبُلٍ فَصَدَقَتْ وَهُوَ مِنَ الْكَاذِبِينَ. If his shirt is torn from the front, then she is truthful, and he is from the liars. But then what happened? فَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ وَإِنْ كَانَ قَمِيصُهُ قُدَّ مِنْ دُبُرٍ. However, if his shirt is torn from the back, then obviously فَكَذَبَتْ, then she is lying. وَهُوَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ, and he is from the truthful. So obviously she was chasing him, then she was ripped from the back, and obviously she is the one who is lying. From this we also learn circumstantial evidence. That can also be proof in law. Circumstance, sometimes it's not clear evidence, but there's circumstantial evidence that can also be proven in law to accuse someone of what they have done. And this is actually what is happening here as well. SubhanAllah. فَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ قُدَّ مِنْ دُبُرٍ. When he saw that his t-shirt was torn from the back, he said, إِنَّهُ مِنْ كَيْدِكُنَّ. This is definitely from the trickery of you women. إِنَّ كَيْدَكُنَّ عَظِيمٌ. Your trickery is indeed very dangerous. Here, in this verse of the Qur'an Kareem, it talks about the makr and the planning and the scheming and the plotting of women. That it can be dangerous. As you're saying in English, a woman scorned, right? It's very dangerous. Those people who have gone through it, you'll probably understand. Those who haven't gone through it, then may Allah protect you all, protect us all. That's why when commentators mention that the makr and the planning and the plotting of a woman is how dangerous it is. That regarding shaitan, Allah Ta'ala makes a mention in the Qur'an Kareem, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. The shaitan's plotting and scheming is weak. Allah mentioned in the Qur'an Kareem. But when it comes to plotting and scheming of women, Allah mentioned that their plotting and scheming is something to be careful of. Allah Ta'ala protect. That doesn't mean all women like that and all the billah in Zalik. So I'm not accusing anyone or anyone's women what Maulana is saying here. But this is the Qur'an Kareem. And Qur'an Kareem, the words of Allah, one thing. Allah Ta'ala created man, Allah created women. Men have certain nature, certain temperament, and women have a certain nature and temperament. It's Allah. It's from Allah. So Allah knows us more than we know ourselves. Allah knows men more than we know ourselves. Allah knows women more than they know themselves. So Allah Ta'ala created them as well. But it's something that we need to look at and observe. Now, because the minister here lived many years with Hazrat Yusuf ﷺ and knew that he was upright and pious, it was for this reason that he did not immediately accept the word of his wife. Now, this is something we also learn. Sometimes someone is accused of something. Then, first of all, before that accusation comes, oh, do you know about this person? He did this. Do you know about this person? He did that. Do you know about this person? That. Now, immediately we should not accept that, because that's an accusation. And also we need to think that, let's look at that person's character, his temperament, his history. He doesn't have a history, or she doesn't have a history of that. He doesn't have a history. He's very truthful, he's very honest. Then you need to think, Ebrahim, this don't make sense. I know that person, I know that woman, I know that man, I know that member of the family. It's impossible for them to get this and to do this, because there'll never be. I've had dealings with that person, I've had business dealings with that person, I've had family engagements with that person, and he's not that sort of person who will do this. Something we need to look at, because that's why the minister did not accept the word of his wife immediately. Many of us, we just accept, oh yeah, he must have done it. Especially if we don't like the person. And if we don't like the person, then even if it's something good, we can't bear to accept. Let alone something which is bad. The biggest problem today is it's a spiritual disease that we need to sit in the company of a sheikh and we need to actually, reform ourselves. Is that we've already made our mind up who is right and who is wrong. Whether it's our brother, sister, family, non-family, we already make our mind up already who is in the wrong and who is in the right. Why? Or we already made up mind up who should be right and who should be wrong. Sometimes someone of a very high caliber, high status, someone of a big family, this, that, bit of support, then they cannot be wrong. And that person who doesn't have much support, no one's there to talk, he's got to be the one, or she's got to be the one, or yes, that particular family's got to be the one, whatever. We have to be very, very careful. That's why in the Qur'an Kareem, Allah makes a mention, and He addresses the believers. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina lillahi shuhada'a bil qist. Or those who believe bear testimony with fairness, with justice, with insaf. وَلَوْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ, even if it goes against yourself. Or الْوَالِدِينَ or الْأَقْرَبِينَ, even if it goes against your parents. You know that your parents are in the wrong in this particular issue, then with the utmost respect, with a very respectful tone, my beloved father, my beloved mother, yes, but in this aspect you are wrong. If they may get angry, responding very, how dare you, I'm your father. Don't reply back, don't be rude. You just say it and then we just leave. That's what Sharia says. That's why one Sahabi came and complained to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, what about if the parents swear at you? Then what do you do? If the parents swear at you, what should be your response? Prophet replied by saying, make dua for the hidayah and guidance. SubhanAllah. Even at that moment, Prophet did not say, you also reply back and start swearing and, throwing all hell loose. No. You make dua for the hidayah and guidance. SubhanAllah. This is the pure teachings of Islam. But as parents, because I'm also a parent, our children get married, actually, we need to be very careful as well. Can't be too stubborn. We need to be very careful. What's wrong is wrong, then we have to accept. Don't create that sort of environment where what is right is wrong and wrong is right. The story spreads in the family, spreads in our community. And then no one's going to know what is right and what is wrong anymore. You have to be very, very careful. Remember, in the dunya, you may think to yourself, well, no one's going to hold me accountable, no one's going to hold her accountable, no one's going to hold me accountable. You know, I've got that status, I've got this, and no one's there to think because I'm quite elderly, I'm quite senior, whatever. Bear this in mind, this life is very, very short. On the day of Qiyamah, we'll have to give an account of these things. So never ever think that I'm not accountable to anyone, we are accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala gives us a So therefore, when we hear an accusation in regard of a particular person, first, we really need to think who that person is. Is a person of good status, good akhlaq. You know, I've had dealings with that person, family dealings with that person, business dealings with that person. No. Sorry, I can't accept it straight away. Look at the person's history. Very, very important. Even if it's your enemy, but you know that that person, your enemy, he may be your enemy, someone you don't like, but in this particular issue, he is right, he's on haqq, then he say, look, whatever my enmity between that person, but regarding this issue, he or she is in the right. It's very, very important. You know, sometimes there's a saying, you know, my enemy is your enemy. So people, you know, capitalize on that. They take advantage of that situation. You know what he doesn't know what to do. You know what? I start, saying something regarding that person as well. No, you have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. And this is what disrupts the whole society. This is what creates disunity within ourselves, within our family, within our social circles, within our business circle, and then slowly spreads in the whole community. And that is also one type of zulm. And normally, we always target those who are vulnerable. Always the case. Majority of the times. Those who are vulnerable, those who don't have a say, those who don't have much support, we always target them. There's a saying in Gujarati, right? Halki body ko banda chali hai. Halki body, you know what? That's it. And those, they know that they don't really say much, they're very quiet, they're very soft-hearted, soft-natured approach. Because not everyone is the same, not everybody is the same. And those who are very strong, strict, they know how to give reply answers straight away, even if they're in the wrong, then no one will do. Then there's a saying for that in Gujarati as well. Who's going to place his hand in the mouth of the tiger? So it's roaring. So we have to be very, very careful. Or sometimes who shouts the loudest, he's the most. There's no issue. But look here, remember, in the minister's house, Allahu Akbar, minister's house, we talk about government here. Allahu Akbar. And because Yusuf was living in the minister's house for some time, Allahu Akbar, they said, no, I can't accept immediately. That's why Yusuf gives us so many lessons, social lessons, social interactions, so many lessons here. Lessons of unity in family, in society, what to do and how to respond when an accusation is made. Very, very important. And therefore to look at someone's character, that is also very, very important as well. If someone's already got a history of lying, deceiving, cheating, dhoka, deception, he's done so many people over, then it's a different issue. But someone who's hardly done anyone over, and then an accusation is made, they have to be very, very careful. You know what I mean? Mentions yet it is also possible that he believed that she was guilty from the very outset, but did not say anything until the matter was resolved. You know what I mean? Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala resolved the matter by causing an infant child from her family to serve as a witness to the incident. That a witness from the family testified by saying, if his shirt is torn from the front, then she is truthful and he is from the liars. However, if his shirt is torn from the back, then she is lying and he is from the truthful. And when he, meaning the husband, saw that his shirt was torn from the back, he said, this is definitely from the trickery of you women. Your trickery is indeed very dangerous. That's why in the hadith of Bukhari, subhanallah, Prophet ﷺ mentions that on the way to perform each salah, Prophet ﷺ addressed some women saying, I have not seen anything more destructive to the intelligence of a wise man than you women. Allah. And then another hadith reported by Imam Mishkat, he mentions, Prophet said, the most destructive test, imtihan to man that will be left after my demise will be that of women. Allah. And then Prophet also said, another hadith reported by Imam Muslim, fear Allah and fear the trial of women, the test of women. For verily the first cause of corruption and fitna among the Banu Israel was because of women. And then another hadith, Prophet also mentions, these are many hadith, Maulana Ebrahim mentioned many hadith, continuous on being careful of the fitna of women. Prophet also said, women are the snares of shaitan, meaning shaitan uses them to entrap men in sin and vice. The witness did not testify that he saw what happened, but mentioned this fact in such a manner that he clearly exposed the guilt of the woman. Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to save ourselves from fitna. There's many fitnas, and these are times of fitna. Time fitna may safeguard our iman in Islam, and also ponder upon what the Sharia has actually instructed us how to respond. And again I mentioned, accusation, we should abstain from that. Very, very important. Accusing someone is a big guna. That's what I've done. In the Islamic Sharia law, that person will be lashed. There's no clear witnesses. Allah. And if you hear an accusation regarding someone, don't accept it immediately. No matter who it may be, maybe your enemy, maybe someone you don't like, it doesn't really matter. No, we need to first find out the facts. Here the list is finding out the fact. Investigate, do tahqiq, listen to both sides of the story. That's why even for a qazi, a judge, a mufti, a scholar, a counselor, when any issue comes, he's not allowed to just listen to one side of the story. You see, yes, I've heard your side of the story, I need to listen to that person as well. What was said? What was the intention behind what was mentioned? What is the incident behind all this? We need to understand. Sometimes we think, because he's a pious person, or he accept. No, even though he may be a pious person, we need to listen to what the other person may be as well. That is also very, sometimes that's another illness as well. We think, who's more pious in my eyes, I'll accept it no matter what he says. No. Regarding this matter, be very, very careful. Because remember, on the day, once if we make a wrong decision regarding these issues, it could Allah create enmity in communities and communities. That person which will be a target of enmity and dushmani and hasad and Allah, nobody, how many decisions, all because we were not ready to actually listen to what the actual story was. And all that guna and sin went out. If you have so many nekis and good deeds, then carry on. We don't even have good deeds, many good deeds to our name already. And on top of that, all this. So fear, that's why in the Qur'an Kareem constantly Allah mentions fear Allah, fear Allah, fear Allah. Be God conscious in every aspect of our life, in every decision, any scenario, any incident, fear Allah. And if you don't want to get involved, okay, you don't want to make a decision, sorry, I don't want to get involved. Because both close to my heart. Well, I'm in no position, go to someone more wise, more knowledgeable, go to that person. Because as far as I know about that person, he's a very good person. Especially when we've had dealings with people. Because you can't really know about anyone and their character and their personality until we actually deal with them. Yes, I meet you, mashallah, assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Very good, yes. He smiles a lot, he's a good person. No, just by smiling a lot, that doesn't mean anything. That's why someone who was praising from Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, praising him so much. So Hazrat Umar said, what? Have you traveled with him before? If you've not traveled with him, then you don't know that person. You don't know his character. You don't know his personality. You travel with a person, then you know how much sabr he has, how much patience they have, how do they react to incidents. Then you know. We all learn that from life experience. That's why we go to a business deal with someone. And then we've had a bad, experience by one other person. Someone went in marriage, and that girl may be so beautiful, so pretty, but living with that is like hell. Or that man was handsome, but his akhlaq, personality, all down the drain. Talaq is done, divorce is done, and the same woman who's very pretty goes around and someone says, oh mashallah, she's a pretty woman, or is a handsome man, and you will say, oh, yeah, I know. I know. Why? That person has only looked at the zahir, the one who's praising. But that person who's lived with that person, they know the character, they know the personality. Yes, we all going to have flaws. We all going to have defects. We all going to have shortcomings. You can't just always give talaq and divorce to everyone who does small shortcomings. That would be ridiculous as well. You know what I mean? We have to overlook the shortcomings as well and look at the good points as well at the same time. Because we are all weak. We are human beings. We all have our shortcomings. But obviously here, this issue here is all about issues that need to be resolved. We need to listen to both sides of the story. Don't just come to conclusion and accusations and accepting accusations without investigation. May Allah protect us. Allah give us a tawfiq. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. Usted viene, me encanta.